which seem to be contradicting nature. So, the Holy Quran repeatedly demands people to use their brains, their heads, their aql. Afala taqilun, afala taqilun. He said, why don't these people use wisdom which God has given them? Or are there locks on their hearts? So the one religion which emphasizes the role of wisdom and understanding is unfortunately treated by the so-called custodians of that religion as not permitting the use of wisdom with relation to the Quran and the relation to Islam. This is their falsehood, not the falsehood of the Quran. Now the second question was of the same nature, but specifically you inquired about, please? Atomic energy. All right, I understand.
Sorry, is there any mention of atomic energy in the Holy Quran?
There is a definite mention of the atomic energy and also the atomic explosion, also the consequences thereof, and the extremely dangerous radiating cloud spreading over the world and destroying life within, underneath. All these things are mentioned in the Holy Quran very clearly. To begin with, I quote a surah of the Holy Quran, a small surah at the end of the chapter, in the last chapter, in the last part, what do you call it? Part, last part, that is 30th part. And I refer to Surah Humaza. It says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Wailul likulli humazatil lumazatin alladhi jama malum wa addada yasabu anna malahu akhlada kalla layumbadhanna fil hutamati wa ma adraka mal hutama narullahil muqadatul lati tattali'u ala al-af'ila innaha alayhim muswadatun fi amadim mumaddada. Now, leaving the first part for a while because of the shortage of time, I come to the crux of the matter. It says such and such people as have been described will be thrown into the smallest particle. What sense does it read? لَيُنْبَذَنَّ فِي الْحُطَمَةِ. And consult all Arabic dictionaries. Hutama is like the particle which one cannot see with unaided eye, or with the unaided eye only when it passes through a beam of light. Then you begin to see very small, minute particles floating in the air, not otherwise. I don't see any particle, but sometimes if a beam is thrown, then you begin to see many small, tiny particles hanging in the area where the beam is striking. So it's amazing, but it's not enough. That's not all. La yumbadhanna fil hutamate. And the next question which is raised is fantastic. Wama adraka mal hutama. How on earth can we make you understand what hutama is? Because time had not yet come for the people to understand. Time was yet to come for people to know what atom was and what it could do. It says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةُ نَارُ اللَّهِ الْمُوقَدَةُ الَّتِي. We are talking of the fire of God, which will be built. مُوقَدَةُ الَّتِي, it will be built within this small particle. تَطَّلِعُ عَلَى الْأَفْئِدَةِ. A strange fire it would be. Before burning the bodies, it will leap directly at the hearts and make them cease to beat. تَطَّلِعُ عَلَى الْأَفْئِدَةِ. إِنَّهَا عَلَيْهِمْ مُوصَدَةٌ. This fire within that hutama is closed or locked up for them. In what form? in fi amadin mumaddada. Amad is like a pillar, but mumaddada means which is made to look like a pillar after stretching it. Now, if you ever happen to see the picture of atom or the substance, radioactive substance which is about to explode, you will see without fail the scientist presenting it in the form of something which is extended to the sides and extended beyond its original size in the form of a pillar like being extended until it breaks and explodes. So what better description of atom and atomic bomb could you expect from any book at a time when the concept of atom was not yet born? That is why I searched far and wide for an explanation from earlier commentators regarding this. I found none. They were completely perplexed. All that they could offer was, maybe this pillar is the name of a pillar in hell. Hell, of course it would be. But not in the hereafter, here, in this world. Then the Holy Quran speaks of Qarya, a terrorizing sound which will destroy everything by the immense intensity of the wave. But returning to this verse, have you ever seen a fire which does not burn first, but leaps at the heart directly without heat wave touching the body? If you have not, read the history of Hiroshima, written by a scientist. They would tell you that the atomic explosion released shock waves, and shock waves as well as heat waves. But the shock waves traveled faster than the heat waves. And all other forms of radiation were left behind. And it was the shock waves which killed people, because immediately the hearts were arrested under that immense shock. Like the microwave, if somebody is subjected to a microwave, his heart would come to a standstill immediately. So the Holy Quran goes to the length of describing the nature of that fire locked within the heart of an unseen, invisible small particle, in the form that when it explodes, it leaps at the hearts and destroys them. But the consequences of this atomic explosion are further explained in Surah Ad-Dukhan, which means the smoke. And it is said that a day would come when a smoke would begin to travel, move along the earth and countries, which will spell death and destruction. And nobody will be able to escape from its destruction on whom this smoke casts a shadow. Now you read the description, and you have to admit that before the discovery of atomic radiation spreading through cloud and smokes, spelling destruction on whatever they cast their shadows, was seen, witnessed by you yourself today. Unless you had done it, you couldn't understand it. So the Holy Quran is not a book of the past. It is a living book. It specifically mentioned all the important events and inventions by man of this age. Even speaking of the attempt to change nature of God through tampering with the genes and characters, etc. Even that is mentioned. Enough? Thank you. Thank you.
Next question is the last one, and that is, we invite Mr. Ghazali from Sierra Leone, please.
Sierra Leone.